Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. And we begin tonight with news of a severe weather statement issued by the Met Office. Meteorologist David Best is with us now and he has the details. David?
Very good evening to you, Lisa, and very good evening to all watching. Our analysis has indicated that there is a strong tropical wave in the far eastern Atlantic at this time, and the guidance, note the word I'm using, the guidance has indicated that this system has the potential to strengthen slowly over the next couple of days and pass pretty close to Barbados and the island chain. And as a result, at the Meteorological Department, we issued a statement, and this is to fully inform all the residents of what is actually happening and what we are expecting to happen. And we, of course, will be updating this as the days go by. This statement was issued, a severe weather warning, a severe weather statement was issued at 4 this evening, and the Barbados Meteorological Services is monitoring the progress of a tropical wave over the central Atlantic. The axis of that wave is near 33 degrees west with activity to the south of 14 degrees north. Now at present, model guidance is suggesting some slow development is possible over the next few days as the tropical wave moves at 17 to 23 miles per hour towards the Lesser Antilles. Now, regardless of development, some moderate to heavy showers, thunderstorms, and gusty winds are likely to spread across Barbados late Thursday into Friday. And as the wave moves across the region, we are expecting it to continue to impact the area. Marine conditions are expected to continue to deteriorate. Now, we are urging you to continue to monitor the progress of this system. Of course, you can check our hotline 976-2376 or by accessing barbadosweather.org. I'll give you further details on this system in my segment. Lisa?
Thanks very much, David. Local businesses applying for permission to provide goods and services for Carifesta 13 will be given a fair shot. This assurance from Culture Minister Stephen Lashley. He says it would be impossible to execute an event of this magnitude without input from the private sector.
There are Barbadian businesses that will gain the opportunity in providing services to the Carifesta experience, and by virtue of that able to maintain employment levels, in some cases having to increase the level of employment for the festival. This is one of the very immediate and short-term benefits of such a festival. It operates almost as an economic boost or injection into the economy. But there has been competitive bidding in all respects, and we have opened ourselves up so that persons who own business, own services, can actually provide the information, and then of course decisions are made based on that kind of competitive arrangement.
The minister was speaking during a press conference to update the media on preparations for the regional festival scheduled for August 17th to the 27th. He says the environmental impact of hosting such an event has also been considered.
We want to present to Barbadians and our Caribbean brothers and sisters a green festival. We want to make sure, of course, that we respect our environment and we can have a festival that represents certainly how we are supposed to behave in terms of placing a lot of emphasis on conservation and, of course, proper disposal of refuse.
Minister of Labour Dr. Esther Suku is singing the praises of an organization which has stood the test of time and played a critical role in maintaining stability in the country. It comes as the Barbados Employers Confederation celebrated its 60th anniversary with a dinner and awards ceremony. Kareem Smith reports.
Over the past 60 years, Barbados has seen a number of social, political and economic changes. But this weekend, one organization was lauded for its ability to show tremendous resilience. Officials instrumental in the survival of the Barbados Employers Confederation were honored for their work during a dinner and awards ceremony at the Apes Hill Golf and Polo community. Labour Minister Esther Suku praised the Confederation for using their authority to bring about positive changes on the island.
Whether it is keeping government on its toes, and note I said toes and not back foot, engaging in processes to support the enactment of new labour legislation, or lobbying for changes to existing legislation, the BEC has been a very active player in labor administration.
Minister Bayasuku says the Confederation continues to be involved in initiatives geared at developing workplace conditions. In addition, she says their role within the social partnership, especially in labor relations, has been integral in maintaining stability in the country. The Labour Minister believes these characteristics are extremely important at this point in the country's history.
For us in Barbados, this is not just theory. This is now our history. And we have learned some very valuable lessons from our history, which we must not forget. I want to use this opportunity to remind us all that our history has taught us that when we Barbadians unite, we have not only the strength and resilience to weather storms, but we have demonstrated the capacity and the ingenuity to devise better approaches to our challenges.
Council members, employees, past presidents and executive directors were recognized for their contribution to the Confederation. Newly retired Executive Director Tony Walcott and Secretary-Treasurer Yvonne Cheltenham were among those who received special awards for their service as the organization now looks to the future. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thanks, Kareem. While the trade union movement's march in the 1990s was justified, their current plans to march against the proposals in the recent budget are not. That's the view of the director of the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Economic Studies, Dr. Don Marshall. Now, speaking on the Walter Point 2 show on CBC, he questioned why the union is marching now and not when the 3,000 public sector workers were sent home.
In this particular scenario, you've had a government in 2013 that sought to cut the public service by 3,000, ended up with only 1,300 being laid off. The unions didn't strike, which you would think they would. Now we're in 2017, and you have a set of budgetary measures that for which one cannot predict what will be the outcome. We know there will be some increases in the cost of living, but the extent to which this may have a deleterious impact on employment and so on is still left to be seen.
Well, from 11:30 tomorrow morning, 4 major unions will be staging a walk from Queen's Park to Parliament. On arrival, they are expected to symbolically deliver letters to Prime Minister Fendel Stewart, Opposition Leader Mia Mottley, and the independent members of Parliament. The letters, which have already been officially sent off, contain their major concerns and proposals regarding the National Social Responsibility Levy and other key economic issues affecting the labour movement. 2 programs to reduce the island's multi-million-dollar food import bill and encourage more young people to be involved in agriculture will be rolled out next year. They will be offered by the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture in Barbados and the TVET Council. As Rianne Phillips reports, this was revealed at the graduation for the 2016 ICA Barbados Delegation Youth Farm Program.
One of the programs which ICA will be introducing is aquaponics. Presently, it offers courses in crop production and livestock rearing for the youth.
To date, we've trained 128 students, 8 of whom have gained permanent employment with partnering agribusiness firms based on their internship performance, and 3 have started new business ventures. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture, which provided the training centers at the Home Agricultural Station in St. Philip and the Greenland Livestock Agricultural Station.
The TVET Council will also be expanding its course offerings.
We are planning to launch a series of higher level courses, and agriculture will be one in September 2018. We are looking forward to partnering with ICA, where we are looking at level 3 and level 4 agricultural programs in this country.
The graduates have been told they have an important role to play in the survival of agriculture in the region.
We need our young people involved in agriculture. In the same way that we know we need doctors and lawyers, we need plumbers, we need pharmacists, we need engineers. And as we look at our national development, we know we need IT specialists, we need teachers, nurses, and everybody knows that we need these folks. And we also need our agricultural workers. whether crop specialists, soil scientists, plant breeders, crop farmers, livestock farmers, or greenhouse specialists.
The most outstanding student in the program was Shem Wilson. Other students received certificates and awards for enthusiasm and outstanding performances in the courses. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
Well, thanks very much, Rianne. And later on in the evening news, we'll hear some tributes on the passing of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Stay with us.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
We start with a yes. But when life takes unexpected turns, you can still say yes to more. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card gives you points with every purchase that you can use to travel to anywhere. Plus, with just 20,000 Scotia points, you can say yes to destinations. With Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card, it's easier to say yes to everything. Apply today.
I have diabetes and nothing stops me because I decided to maintain my blood sugar spikes and weight in control. That's why I choose Glucerna Hunger Smart. It helps me manage hunger and minimize blood sugar spikes.
Glucerna Hunger Smart has 15 grams of protein to help you manage hunger as part of your weight loss plan. Glucerna, your good decision of the day.
So, in an effort to test the credibility of this so-called speed squad, we have some random questions for you to answer. How quickly can you change clothes? The bag of groceries on the table. How fast can you guys prepare a meal? And go! All right. Which network gives you the speed you prefer and enjoy?
Join the fastest team and shift your Flow Fiber broadband into high gear by upgrading now at no extra cost for 3 months. Plus, enjoy the best of Flow TV for free.
Last question. Who's the fastest?
I had to ask. Upgrade now.
Barbados' newest festival, Dive Fest, has been hailed a success. That was the consensus at the event's closing ceremony. Rianne Phillips tells us more.
Free diving demos, lionfish hunting, water awareness programs, beach cleanups and conservation tips were just some of the highlights of this year's Dive Fest. CEO of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Rudy Grant, says it's a boost for local tourism.
This is the first year of this Dive Festival, and the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association is extremely happy to be associated with this. We believe that this festival has significant potential, and that by continuing to work with the dive operators and to work with the BTMI and to work with the TDC, we will be able to continue to expand and to build this dive festival in such a way that we are able to encourage more visitors to come to our destination.
The festival has been identified as a bright spark for diving locally.
I think it's actually been fantastic. You know, we're actually bringing the dive product together. I would have been together with Andre and a couple of the guys when we would have attended a few of the dive shows, particularly across the UK. And we do have a beautiful product here, and we always try to position it as Barbados' best kept secret. Of course, we have quite a few secrets. This really brings it all together.
Several young swimmers were honored at the closing. Next year's festival will be held from July 4th to 8th. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
The residential addiction treatment facility for women, Marina House, wants to help females in the region. The center, the first residential facility for women battling drug addiction, opened in 2015. Clinical director at the Substance Abuse Foundation, Angela Seeley, believes Barbados should be considered for treatment.
Rather than sending them overseas, we'd prefer if they came to Barbados because it's all cultural, and We have a variety of services that we offer for the women. It's the mental health, the substance abuse. We have family therapy also. We have trauma and grief groups as well.
Amidst national concern about criminal activity and delinquency among the youth, some are throwing themselves into constructive hobbies, in particular, music.
Of the over 250 students at Notes of Praise Music School, 90% are young people, and 70% of those are males. According to Managing Director Valis Jemmett, a passion for music is a natural deterrent for bad behavior.
If a 13-year-old boy is spending that amount of time, and especially now that it's getting into vacation, that amount of time focusing on their instrument, they don't have time or energy or inclination to get into trouble.
He says there are a variety of instruments and interests to capture their attention.
We have teenagers who are coming, they're 13, 14, and they have that love for music. They even want to be creating beats and those things like that. And once they come in, they more or less focus their energy on playing the instrument. They'll be able to hear a song on the radio and reproduce it or so on and work with different rhythms.
And if they get serious about music, the school offers qualifications.
The piano students, you can do the Royal School of Music exams. We do classical exams and theory on piano and theory exams as well. And we also offer CSC, and actually over the last couple of years we had students in the top 10 within the Caribbean.
Caribbean vocational qualifications will also be offered in musical performance from September. Some young students who are currently preparing for the school's 14th annual showcase on July 15th told CBC what they love most about music.
To see the smiles on their face and how they clap at the end after they play.
When I get to play on stage, I can make money. And when I'm finished playing, lots of people will be clapping for me.
And they encourage their peers to avoid bad behavior.
I think they should stop fighting and get something to do except fighting.
And give music a try.
I would suggest to these people that they just pick up an instrument, go to Notes of Praise and start playing.
The showcase will be held this Saturday at the Derek Smith Auditorium. Denise Blackman, CBC News.
Denise, thanks. Well, tributes are continuing to pour in for Director of Public Prosecutions Charles Leacock. He died suddenly while undergoing surgery in Florida on Saturday night. Lisa Lord reports.
At just 39 years old, Charles Clifton Leacock was appointed the island's youngest director of public prosecutions. And as Barbados' 5th DPP, he would lead one of the most important offices in the judiciary for the last 20 years. Born on December 28, 1957 in Guyana, Mr. Leacock entered the University of the West Indies Cayfield campus and graduated with a law degree in 1981. He became Crown Counsel in 1984 before working his way to the post of Director of Public Prosecutions in 1997. As the island's top prosecutor, he was a strong advocate for eliminating the scourge of illegal drugs. In some of his most recent public engagements, Mr. Leacock made it clear that Barbados needed to go after the assets of crime lords. At the same time, he said alternative forms of punishment for drug users must be considered. Speaking to us today from Florida, his older son Donald thanked everyone for their well wishes and support during what is an extremely difficult time for the family.
On behalf of my mother, my younger brother, and the rest of our family, I would like to express our heartfelt thanks for the outpouring of love and support shown by so many at this very difficult time. All three of our phones have been going off non-stop with sympathy calls and texts, and I cannot thank everyone enough for all of the amazing things said by his colleagues and all of the well wishes offered by friends. Thank you.
In expressing his condolences, Culture Minister Stephen Lashley, who is also an attorney at law, indicated that his passing will be deeply felt in the legal fraternity and the high standard of work he brought to the office of the DPP.
He's always been a very respected member of the bar. As the country's chief prosecutor, he has certainly been able to make some very significant inroads in relation to the development of the law, in particular, of course, the criminal law. And he has been able, in terms of his stewardship as our chief prosecutor, to impact in a very positive way the development of legal systems in Barbados.
The Barbados Bar Association was one of the first organizations to pay tribute to Mr. Leacock, calling him an eminent member of the legal fraternity. President Lashley Week says the association will pay full tribute to Mr. Leacock in the coming days. Lisa Lord, CBC News.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits, with a solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter, that's the move for me. Stability, prosperity, with a solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
On Friday, July 14th, it's endless possibilities at the First Citizens Pan Fusion, featuring the multi-talented Dane Gulson from Trinidad and the uncut sounds of the Ziggy Walker Azucar Orchestra. Join us as Nicholas Branco and friends salute Adrian Blue Husbands in a musical tribute, taking you back to the days of the Chimborazo and the Culture Train. First time in Barbados, it's going to be track versus steel, a musical clash, when DJ Lil Rick goes up against the Azucar Orchestra. Then party on the dance floor at the Fantasy After Party with DJ Lil Rick spinning the music of the season. On Friday, July 14th at 8 p.m., the tranquil grounds of Alara Court will transform with musical magic. Early bird general tickets $50 to relax on the grounds. Priority seating $75. Regular tickets $60 and $85 respectively. Or kick back in an all-inclusive lounge for $230. The First Citizens Pan Fusion. Endless possibilities where everyone parties like royalty.
When the crowds descend on Bushy Park for the big Soca Royale competitions, we will be there. When the social commentators in Kaiso face off for the Pickety Crop Finals, we will be there. CBC, capturing it and sharing it all with you on pay-per-view via MCTV or web stream on www.cropover.cbc.bb. CBC, your link to the festival.
An inferno at the Camp Street prison in Guyana has left one prison warden dead and others nursing injuries. We get more from HGP TV.
Pandemonium broke out on Sunday afternoon when prisoners reportedly ambushed prison officers at the Capital Offences section of the Camp Street prison, then set the place afire. It started around 4:45 p.m. An undisclosed number of prisoners escaped. The government has given assurance that the small number of escapees will be contained and that citizens should not be fearful of their continued safety. The prisoners have been placed in secure confinement at various locations and are to be relocated at the Mazaruni prison and other facilities. So far, there is no indication that a crisis situation exists. Several prison officers were reportedly shot and chopped by the escapees and were rushed to the Georgetown Public Hospital for emergency treatment. The Camp Street prison is one of the few wooden prisons in the world, and from the experience of the previous prison riot there, it was clear that the buildings that house prisoners in this compound was a disaster in the waiting. The Minister of Public Health, Valda Lawrence, confirmed that 6 prison officers were injured when the unrest began. Earlier Sunday night, one prison officer was undergoing surgery for wounds inflicted, reportedly by the escapees. At least one prison officer has died. There is no official word about casualties among prisoners, but latest reports state that many prisoners were helpful in an attempt to overcome the blaze. Most of the prison compound was eventually engulfed in flames, and there is no such thing as the Camp Street prison any longer. Only the eastern section of the compound along John Street remains standing.
For the next 4 days, the Barbados Postal Service and its regional counterparts will be strengthening their ability to make use of e-commerce in their operations. The Universal Postal Union and the Caribbean Postal Union, are hosting a workshop on operational readiness for e-commerce at the Caribbean Postal Training Center. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Gail Francis Vaughan, says the region must keep up with the current social and business climate.
Other research on e-commerce suggests that in 2018, 139.3 million people in Latin America are expected to buy goods and services online. This is up from 84.7 million in 2013. So you see how rapidly this e-commerce is growing in the Caribbean, in the region, and of course we will not want to be left out in the Caribbean, and we would of course do everything in our power to get our share of this growing market.
Chairman of the Caribbean Postal Union, Benoit Georges, says the workshop is part of a bigger project that the UPU is undertaking.
This e-commerce global project for the next cycle has 3 dimensions, like Mr. Gay told us. It is a worldwide project, like drafted and the result of regional strategic conference by the UPU. So we've got a worldwide framework. We've got a regional framework that was translated by Ms. Bipop and the DCDEF team to accommodate the priorities of the region. And we've got a national framework where every country will be asked to provide a diagnostic and to work on its own operations.
Just ahead, we'll give you a peek into the world of sports. But just before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Policyholders should ensure that the sum insured on their property reflects the rebuilding cost as new. In other words, you should not underinsure your property. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.